ready to Carlos?
Yeah.
Perfect. Good. Start off the week against DBU. Tough team. Just talk about what kind of lessons you guys learned, not only in your first road game of the year, but another tough test that you guys had.
Yeah, now DB's got a good team. Traditionally strong, very good players. They played very well on Tuesday, man. We got behind early on, and they got the front run, and they're very good at that, man. When they get going, I think I may have mentioned that last week, man. They're a team, once they get some momentum and start rolling, it's just really hard to slow them down, especially in that ballpark on an offensive night. So we knew, we've just wrapped up 8 games in 10 days, so like with limited pitch counts early in the year. I was looking at it last night, man. We've had 32 different guys that have played to this point, which is pretty much the vast majority of our roster. So then when you look at the pitching side of things, we're pretty conservative early on with pitch counts, so that gives guys and creates more opportunities for guys. So there's a ton to pull away from when you look back at who we played, the different types of teams that we've played over the span of 10 games. Or 8 games in 10 days. So it's been neat to kind of see how many lessons we've learned. Right now, man, we're doing all of it. There's a leadership component to what we're doing as coaches. There's teaching. There's so many teaching points early in the year. But then there's the coaching aspect of like trying to manage games and manage situations and a bullpen and lineup. So we've been tested, which is exactly what we wanted. We do not have a midweek game this week intentionally to kind of – we knew the first day we're going to be a challenge. So we get to reset a little bit now and get ready for the next run. So a lot of good points to take away. I wish we were 8-0, 5-3. Sounds a lot better than 3-5. So we'll see if we can continue to find ways to win like we did yesterday.
And you talked about that tough schedule. I mean, you didn't get a break after that ABU game against Oral Roberts. Dropped the first one, but able to come back. Talk about your team's ability to kind of bounce back after a couple of tough losses and win a series early this year.
Yeah. No, we took one on Friday night now. That was no fun. Got exposed a little bit with a couple things. The game inside the game, I think we kind of figured that out. Back half of game 1, kind of settled the waters. Got a great start from Aiden Coleman the second game on Saturday, which kind of righted the waters for us. It's great. Anytime you can get hit and get off the mat, I think that's a characteristic you want as a coach. I think that's certainly something we value in our program is the toughness piece of, man, I told them post-game, like, there's opportunities. One, you don't get that one back. We weren't ready to play. I didn't have them ready to play at the level that we needed to on Friday. But, man, losing one like that creates another opportunity for us to kind of bounce back against a championship team. Absolutely flipped the script on Saturday and then kind of hammered down with a 12-3 game, I guess a complete game on our end. Then it comes to Sunday, man. We knew yesterday, I talked to him pregame, like, man, this is going to be a 1 or 2 pitch game. Like, I've been doing this long enough to know when it's upside down twice, that means the bullpen pieces are probably pretty stacked to get to Sunday, which we needed every one of them. When you look at it, you never want to spot a team 5 runs before you get an out. Not just in the first, but Cade did a good job getting off the field after he got punched. And then, man, you look at Caden Grenay and what freshman Baron Manis did. They kind of really just gave us a chance to kind of quiet down, get in a rhythm offensively, try to flip the momentum back on our side. And, man, it took till the 7th inning to catch them with Diego's big home run. And then, obviously, the 2-out, 2-strike hit to win it there in the bottom of the 9th. So, our guys have been in a lot of different situations already to start the year, so I think that will continue to prepare us for moments later on.
And you talked about a couple of them, but those veteran players in your lineup, like a Maddox, who had a couple more runs, Diego, who comes up with those big hits. How important is it that you guys have those guys on the team, especially when you have guys on the mound still trying to get up to speed on the mound?
Yeah, for sure. No, I think that's our strength currently, and I would think that'll continue to be. I think it's the depth of our lineup. I think we've got some guys, whether it's start at the back and work forward with Braden Regales, had moments. From a hit standpoint, he's not probably where he wants to be, but he's on base like I think 450 right now. So he's working good at bats. He's getting on. He's setting the table for Zant, Maddox, Diego, Grant, Nick, Brady. So I think when you start to label that or lengthen that out, and you got a guy like Sam Hardcastle that's in your 6-hole yesterday that's been very, very clutch in his time here. So we're still working through how we want to get those dudes in order and get everybody playing to their strengths. But I certainly think the depth of our lineup is one that we'll look back at the end of the year and say, man, it may not have been the 3-hole hitter that just beat everyone every time, but it was the 1 through 9, the 1 through 11, 12 link that we have.
And then you talked about it a little bit, but you threw a lot of guys this week, got a lot of guys experience on that mound. How valuable is that so early on in the season when it comes down to conference time where they're going to be essentially sophomores experience-wise?
Yeah, for sure. No, I think, and when you look at it, we've had 3 comeback wins already too. So like whenever you're down early, there's just no margin from the pitching standpoint. You've got to put up zeros and get off the field. So it's not like they're getting this experience when we're winning 7-1. And it's a comfortable environment to go in there and make your debut. Now, there's been some of those for sure. But man, I reference Barron because he's had a good, he's had all 3 of those, in which there's been some heat on him. He also had a comfortable one to make his debut last weekend. But I thought he did great yesterday, out there, settled 3 innings. He gave up, I think, 3 doubles, 1 double each inning, but made some big pitches to get off the field with 2 outs. When the hitter's working his hardest to try to drive a run in to extend the inning. So moments like that for sure, when your back's against the wall, leverage situations, there's a little bit more intensity, a little bit more adrenaline. Those are always, things that you can kind of pull back on later in the spring.
Speaking of that a little bit, getting a walk-off to not only win a game but win a series as well.
Yeah.
Does that carry momentum into the next kind of group of games and also down the line of the season of like, I've been here, I've done this kind of thing?
Oh, without question. I think momentum is critical to Division I athletics. Sometimes it's really hard to get it rolling. Other times the other team will just do it for you, man. Like we did that early in the game yesterday. We created some momentum for them. They had 1 big swing in the first after some free bases. So it wasn't like they did a lot to earn the 5. We just kind of opened the door and created it for them, which that's happened for us too, on both sides of it. So that's our sport. I'm assuming it's the same thing in basketball and football, maybe a little bit different because it's, the dynamics are different. But I think when hey, we've been down, we've came back already 3 times. Hey, we've been up and we've expanded and extended and knocked some guys down from what we would call like hammer down wins. We play clean in all 3 games and get some separation. There's no doubt guys can pull from that, But we fight really hard here, whether we're 0-4 or 4-0. Like, man, Monday is a new week, and it's an opportunity to get better. We've got 3 days, 4 days actually to kind of work here on some things. We've been exposed in some areas. So we'll dive into those over the next 3-4 days, have some time with the pitchers, have some time with the hitters individually. So I'm excited about that as I am the games. I know the players like the games, but this is our opportunity to coach and teach. Momentum is a real thing.
And now you had the Cleburne, do a little bit of a tournament going against some really tough teams, including one that went to a regional.
Yeah.
Just talk about getting your team these tough tests early with teams that have that postseason experience where you want to get to. How important is that you kind of see this is what it's going to take to make it to a regional?
Yeah. If you span out a little bit starting Friday, we play 5 games in 6 days against 4 different opponents. So we get a little bit of what Joe's been dealing with, a lot of different people, a lot of different brands and styles of play in different venues, So we've got the Claiborne Railroader Stadium, then we go to TCU, then we come back here to play Stephen F. Austin. So I think our guys will be excited about that. Different styles make different fights sometimes in our sport. Playing 5 games in 6 days is always a little bit of a challenge, so you need good starting pitching and you need to be able to execute and be efficient. So now our guys will be excited about that. It's a challenge on our coaching staff to kind of prep and get ready for that. So but that's also the part we enjoy too. So as I've said before, man, it'll be more about what we do well versus trying to defend what the other team does most of the time. But there's certainly a component to that. So it'll be a good environment. I hope a lot of our DFW folks will come over and watch. We're going to be in that area, our next 4 games. To my knowledge, I don't think we've ever played Texas State in baseball. So I think this may be the first time that we've played them, which is kind of weird. I would have thought that would have happened at some point before. But so we'll tee them up. They've got one of our former coaches are on staff there, runs their offense, Danny David Linehan. So looking forward to catching up with him. We'll get to go back and forth a little bit this weekend. And then Creighton, they've Mark does a great job up there and interregional and Big East champs and all that stuff. So, no, as I've said, man, there's just no break. You don't play well on a Friday night, Oral Roberts doesn't care. They're expecting to win and do the same thing on Saturday. So that was a big series win for us early in the year.
Coach, have you ever been a part of a game where your third-string catcher is pinch running and scores the walk-off run?
Yeah. Funny story, Cannon Sundgren, one of my favorite dudes on the team. He's new. He's transferred in. He has settled in. He's such a team guy. Whenever you're a catcher, man, you get to touch and wear so many hats, right? Like you're the coach on the field, you're the quarterback on the field. We've had another injury at that position, so it's like, man, there's the bullpen components of what we're doing right now. There's a lot of pitchers that are seeing a lot of time, and our 3 catchers it's just hard to describe. But, like, if you're not in the game, and then Maddox Misi plays other positions, sometimes Cannon's like the solo dude in the bullpen coming back and forth. So to see him have his moment in that game yesterday and score the winning run was awesome because he's deserved it. He's continuing to work. He's going to be a really good player for us. We've just got a couple guys that have off to a great start. Offensively and defensively. So that was neat. I think we had 19 different dudes that played yesterday. Like from a manager standpoint, it was, we were kind of all over the place trying to put the right pieces of the puzzle. And so to see him have a moment, Nick comes off the bench and walks, and you got a couple pinch runners and stuff there in the late innings. So now Cannon's, I'm glad you mentioned him to start, man. He's a good fit here at ACU.
I cannot be romantic about baseball. I mean, 8 games in 10 days. Was that Maddox playing at second yesterday?
Yeah, he's bounced around a little bit. He's a ball player, man.
These guys are not only in much different spots on the field, but even in the lineup too. Misi could be batting second or batting fourth, or maybe I just mixed them up with Diego batting at different spots too. 8 games in 10 days. How are these guys so comfortable being uncomfortable? Yeah,
no, it's great. We talk about uncertainty quite a bit. Like I think in life, and that's what we're working towards, right? Like Maddox, you mentioned, there's a lot of moving parts in his world. He can play a lot of positions. He can be in a lot of different spots in the lineup. He's been here, but he handles that like a pro. Like he does everything right. Him and Xander, usually the first 2 dudes here every morning. So then you got those guys that are catalysts for everyone else to follow. It's great. So to see him get rewarded with good performance is awesome. But he can handle a lot of different things because he can handle a lot of uncertainty and just say, man, I'm going to control what I can. I'm going to show up consistently. And if I'm in second base, fine. There was a point we almost went to left field yesterday too. So that's a part where we want to recruit and attract ball players. If you can hit, man, we're going to figure out a spot for you, in the lineup. So we're still working on that. We certainly haven't played a complete game and series in a way that we feel like is our best, but it's good to have that flex.
You have a veteran bullpen guy in Grenade.
Yeah, man.
And you have some young dudes in there in the bullpen too. I mean, when you recruited Barron out of Argyle, what did you see at him, and why is he able to be so impressive so early as a freshman?
Yeah, so he was actually a late pickup. Blaze went and watched him. Man, it would have been, I don't know, March, April of last spring. Barron's he's going to have a really good career here, and he started off strong. So that's always great. You don't ever know. It's hard to predict guys how they're going to respond to Division I hitters sometimes, especially guys that have started all their life and now they may be in a bullpen role or vice versa. So he's handled it great, man. He's just keeps getting better. So the more opportunities young guys get, the more comfortable they usually get. The more comfortable you are, the better stuff you have, usually it leads to success. So, the best predictor of future success is past success. So he's had quite a bit of that. So we're excited about him. Carson Wallace, another freshman left-hander that's thrown. Grayson McKelvey's coming along quite well from a freshman from Alito. So those three guys on the mound, and maybe I'm missing another one. Brady Ladisaw's done really well, first-year player, freshman that's jumped right in the lineup too. So they're not the only ones, but they're the ones currently that just had the most impact to start.
Is that nice coaching a sibling? You had Miller, now you have Brady.
That's neat. It's a good story. We're still managing that one because Brady hasn't been here as long. So, I really try to protect that. Like, Brady's his own player. He's writing his own script and his own story here. Miller was really good. Won a lot of games, was on some really good teams, career hits leader, career doubles leader. Like, he's got a really cool story. So sometimes, I think that hurt us in the recruiting, the first part, because I think he wanted to go kind of write his own path, and which is understandable. But, dude, I'm glad he's here, and he's started off great and helped us win some ball games already right out of the chute, which is always cool to see. So, now we try to split the two experiences up great, but having the family around, their ACU family too, so it's neat to see them back in the stands. But no, Miller's Miller, Brady's Brady. But I'm thankful both of them have been in our Wildcats.
Oh yeah, thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Hi, Coach. You talked about playing a lot of games in a really short amount of time. What can you say about not only the success that's come with that, but you've got 6 guys above 1,000 OPS.
Yeah.
Kind of a tough stretch.
Yeah, that's one thing I think we've done well to this point. And I hope that's by design. We want to be known as a team that's, man, you want to recruit every player that's dynamic, that has power and speed. That's hard for us to do at our level sometimes. Those guys usually play professional baseball pretty fast. So we like power and we like speed. Right now the power has showed, the speed part. We've got some guys that can do that, and that's their strength and skill set. Maybe they just haven't been in those positions yet, in the lineup or opportunities. So to see some of those guys drive and impact the ball, that's what we're going to need to do probably to have success. There's some days that the ballpark will play like that. There's other days, man, you got to be able to score some different ways. So I do think that's one thing we've done well to start. Consistency of it, we're going to keep on working on. But no, that needs to be a strength of ours, I think.
Yeah. And you talked about the power. You've already got 16 home runs. You had 63 last year.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit of a shock to you, or were you kind of expecting that much power?
No, I think that's by design, in terms of what you're seeing. Some guys that were first-year players last year, hopefully year 2 is more consistent, better in terms of that. Because when you look at our body types and some of the guys in our lineup, man, they're built to drive the ball, not slap and run. Diego's never going to be confused to be a slap hitter for sure, man, but he's really good when he catches the ball deep and in between his feet and drives, and it's really fun to watch. So the Lord blesses everybody in different ways. Like, his skill stack is, it's bat to ball, but he also has power. And for him to go backside yesterday when we had to have it, that was really impressive. As a pitch caller, when someone lays in there and hits a 2-strike backside bomb into the wind, because again, that wasn't wind blown, man, that was into the wind yesterday, to tie it up with 2 outs and 2 strikes, like, that's no fun, to call. So if we can keep on doing that, where it's not necessarily trying to hit home runs, just letting them come, when they come, that's usually a recipe for success. So now I think I'm hoping that's a trend that we can look back and 5 weeks from now, man, we're continuing to drive the baseball.
And you talked about it a couple times. You had a couple 2-out, 2-strike hits, a couple big ones, Diego's and especially Sam's. What does it mean as coaching staff to have that already on the field this early in the season?
Yeah, we call those backbreakers. So, like, I think those are like, if you're listening in our dugout, it's man, when there's a 2-out opportunity to drive in a run, man, like that's the line. It's like, we're with you. This is your opportunity to really break the other team's back, like in terms of, get them really uncomfortable, keep the pitcher out there, extend the inning, work some more pitches. So when we had several of those over the course of the last 2 days and then we had some delivered to us on Friday night on the opposite side of things, and we didn't get the big ones on Friday night. So, man, I think our guys relish those opportunities. it's neat when they to see them because it's kind of a celebration thing or whatever. It's a badge of honor for sure. When they get those hits because they're the pitcher's at his best, trying to get off the field with 2 outs, runner in scoring position. The pitch caller's he's not going to give in. You're going to have to hit something you probably don't want to hit. They're smart. They're trying to win too, so they're probably going to throw you what they know you may not do real well. So for our guys to adjust and be able to drive in those balls, with 2 outs and 2 strikes, are even more awesome when you're on the right side of it.
And then just talk about Ryan Jones, a guy who didn't get a lot of run last year at Tech, and then has a slow start this year, but then really catches fire this weekend. Talk about his resilience and then just what he's done on the field.
Yeah, no, we think Ryan's going to have a huge impact here at ACU for sure. Early in the year, man, there's been different matchups, and again, there's kind of we're trying to figure out what our best defense, what our best offense is versus a left-handed pitcher versus a right-handed pitcher versus a right-hander with some ride versus a right-hander with some sink. So the dust is going to set on what kind of land probably on where we feel like, but I think Ryan's certainly a guy that is going to impact our lineup in a lot of different ways, I think.